house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
I've been practicing this good.
A little bit. Did I rush you? Felt like I rushed.
That was good. I liked it.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Big Easy Bets podcast. I'm your host, Logan. With me in the studio, Nick Von Brick.
Yo.
We got Bam in the control booth.
Yeah.
Episode 234, college football week 5, NFL week 4. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. We got a lot to dive into. We have a huge week of college football ahead, a ton of big-time matchups to break down, and then we're going to recap one of the more up-and-down weeks that we've had in quite some time, at least in terms of the bad beats just keep coming. And I'm sure you can guess which one that is, but we'll get to it here in a minute. Again, hit that like and subscribe button. It helps us out big time. Numbers are moving in the right direction. We keep winning on Thursday. There's probably a decent portion of you that are here just to see who we're taking on Thursday, and that's fine by me. But again, every time you hit the like or subscribe button, it helps us out big time. We'll start it from the top with the Saints. What felt like rock bottom in Seattle. The worst loss that I can remember. Right out the gates, you were, I think it was 14-0, 5 minutes in. I think I literally went to go, get a cup of coffee, and I came back. I was like, what happened? So, Torrey Horton returned a punt for a touchdown. We had a punt blocked right out the gates. This felt like rock bottom in all seriousness. What were your takeaways, if you had any?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in the first two games, the team was able to keep it close, but then I guess it's easy to say now, but it was like a matter of time before.
Yeah.
And then offensive line, it was like something we were talking about. I thought the offensive line was a strength, but I said if anybody gets hurt, all of a sudden.
Yeah, no depth.
And it showed in this game, so.
Yeah, and we'll recap our Circa Millions plays as well. The Seahawks, we didn't give it out. We didn't bet it on the podcast, but it was one of our plays that we went with. I was double-checking. Yeah, no, we didn't give it out on the podcast, but we did take it in the contest. So that shows you where our minds were going into that game, and first road game of the season for the Saints. It was bad. It really was. I really think that it's time for Mickey Loomis to go. And you just take a look at the roster, and it's top to bottom. It's like, where did some of these guys even come from, for one? But the job he did to plan for the post-Drew Brees, Sean Payton era is one of the worst general manager jobs that I've ever seen. It completely did not set us up for success at all. You see franchises like the Packers who seamlessly go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. It's like malpractice, the position that he's put us in. Do you feel the same? You think it's time for Mickey Loomis to go?
Yeah, the future is very dull because we don't have anybody.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Gail Benson's asleep at the wheel or something. I don't know where she's at, but it's time to fucking wake up, Gail. Things have gone very bad over the last few years. And I'm not really so much you can blame Kellen Moore. There's some questionable. The team doesn't look prepared, doesn't look disciplined. You can blame Rattler, but he was behind the 8 ball right out the gates yet again. But at some point, I feel like we've given Rattler a decent bit of leeway, and at some point, you got to win a fucking game, though. I understand he's been in some really tough circumstances and not set up for success, whether that be with injuries or Dennis Allen on his way out the door and this and that. I think he's had, 10 starts? He's 0-10 in that number. So at some point, your talent has to will you to victory over a shitty team. And he's just not doing that. I don't think he's a bad player, and I do think he has not been set up for success. But there's been plenty of players in that exact same situation. So at some point, you got to go win a fucking football game. But even then, I don't think it's the blame doesn't rest on Kellen Moore's shoulders or Spencer Rattler's shoulders. It entirely rests on Mickey Loomis' shoulders. The job he's done as the general manager is fucking horrific. So there is no light at the end of the tunnel right now. It's going to be a bad season. We told you going in that this was going to be a bad season. The Saints in my power ratings are dead last. And it's just the way it is. So I've had a lot of people talk to me like, you really think they're going to be that? I do. I think they're going to be that bad. And they are. We just got beat by – we looked like a high school team playing the Seahawks who Jalen Milroe touched the field in like the third quarter. That's how bad it was. Let's see. So, yeah, we'll just go through our Circa Millions update real quick. We went 3-2 again, just like last week. I said the goal, the benchmark, in my opinion, was 3-2 every week. You do that, I think we're going to flirt with possibly being in the money. I think 60% was in the money last year. But 3-2 does not feel good whenever you have the Rams plus 3.5. So my question would be, do you think would you say Rams plus 3.5 against the Eagles last week is the worst bad beat of all time in the NFL?
Yeah, pretty close.
It's in the conversation.
I can't remember which game it was. It might have been a Browns game. Some weird shit happened at the end where it might have been a lateral play for a safety or something.
Yeah.
But no, it's definitely going to be the worst bad beat of this season, without a doubt.
And I thought the Ravens were going to be week 1. I felt like that was unbelievable to blow a 15-point lead with 4 minutes to go. People forget that Keon Coleman caught a touchdown off a tip ball. Like tip ball that went to the back of the end zone, and he just happens to be right there. There were many things that happened in that game that should have never even given them an opportunity. But the Rams were beating the Eagles so bad in the first half. I think they had like 40 yards of offense. The Rams outgained them by like 200 yards in the first half. It was 26-7 or something like that. And then the Eagles flipped the switch in the second half. But the Rams, Sean McVay deserves a lot of credit for blowing this fucking game because he took his foot off the gas and they went ultra conservative. They did go forward on a 4th down, which I was scratching my head at. But I felt like the play calling went ultra conservative. And then the story for me today was going to be about their kicker for a good reason. I was texting you. This guy has figured out how to kick a knuckleball, and it was giving the Eagles fucking fits. Every single kick return, they're like, it's bouncing around, it's at their feet, and they had like every drive started at like the 10-yard line. I don't know how closely you were watching, but it was every single one that I was like, what are they doing to the ball? Like, why? The Eagles looked like they were not prepared for the kickoff to even come to them. Which going forward, it's like make a mental note of that. That's a huge asset because he said in a press conference, somebody started reposting it that he figured out how to kick a knuckleball and it's working, and it definitely was. But the story was that they got the 2 field goals in a row blocked. And on a side note, I know Bam was happy when that happened.
Why do you say that?
Because I texted Bam, like I'm talking a minute before that happened, and I said, Bam, respectfully shove Packers plus 8.5 all the way up your ass. Minus 8.5. Because we had the talk, we were head-to-head there. I tried to tell him, he didn't listen. But I hit send, and then I was like, oh, the kick for the win. Got up, had my hands up in the air. I'm like, just get the ball in the air. And then they block it, and then like my mouth was open, and I'm just watching. I didn't yell or anything. I'm just looking. I'm like, this is fucking unbelievable. And they said they clocked Jordan Davis 18 miles an hour. He topped out at. It's one of those things like that's not the right play. Like if Nick Sirianni's a bad football coach because if he's coaching Jordan Davis up correctly, he's telling his big ass to go down. You just go down. You won the game. You didn't need to do that. Yeah. You didn't need to return it the whole way. And I got people texting me. The number of people that text me, I got texts during the Ravens game too, week 1. I'm talking Jordan Davis wasn't even he hadn't even caught his breath yet. And people are like, holy shit, you had the Rams, didn't you? I'm like, what the fuck is going on? When has that become okay? It's like too many people. I don't know. That was, I question everything when shit like that happens. And then I try not to, though, at the same time where I felt like the Rams were the right side.
Yeah.
Like, I can lay my head down on my pillow and know the Rams were the right side, and we fucking lost.
Yeah, it felt like Stafford was off the mark in the second half, though.
Yeah.
There were some guys on some crossing routes against man coverage that were open, and he just threw it high or a little bit too far out in front. But the whole time, I felt good about it. I was like, I think the Rams were up 5. I was like, at least we have 3.5, because if the Eagles score a touchdown, they're going for 2. They did. They failed. And they were only up 1. Rams getting field goal range to win the game.
But to get 2.
It's like you hope they just fucking turn it over on 4th down at that point.
Yeah. But to get 2 in a row blocked is just crazy. I don't know. It's like you'll be searching for answers that you'll never get for the rest of your life. If you just got to move on. And that's what I told myself. I sulk about it for a day, and then I just got to move on and keep it moving. 3-2. Another week at 3-2. 4-1 would have been fucking nice. Like I said, we're a razor-thin margin from being in the mix in this contest. And it's a long season. But, my God, you got to get lucky. You got to get lucky in these contests, and we have not this year. All of our winners have been easy winners. So, but, yeah, I know Bam. Just admit it, Bam. You were happy. You were happy to see Jordan Davis return that.
I really wasn't.
Don't lie. Don't lie.
It was good to see another big man do his thing.
Okay, see? What the fuck? Okay.
I'm playing.
Yeah, okay. Bam, just stop. I tried to tell you about the fucking Browns. You didn't want to listen. I feel like you took it personal. I tried to tell you that was a spot for the Browns. You didn't want to listen. You laid it with the Packers. Should I have told you to shove Packers minus 8.5 all the way up your ass respectfully? Probably not, but it is what it is. Arch Manning, can't stop talking about him. He is back in the news cycle because they beat up on Sam Houston State. But that wasn't the problem. It was that he ran in as a quarterback. He ran in another touchdown. And you saw the way he stood over the guy?
I kind of saw it.
Did you have an issue with it?
I didn't really see it that good. I just saw some people posting about it.
So you didn't see it?
I did. I might have saw a photograph of it.
You saw it like right as you woke up in the morning?
But I saw people giving him shit about it because it's Sam Houston State.
Yeah. It's a tough look. You played like absolute dog shit against the one good team y'all played, and then it just feels like you're punching down, I guess, is the popular term that people like to say. It just looked bad. It's like they stink. They're not supposed to be good. Y'all are supposed to obliterate them. There may be a little backstory. Some people were saying that guy might have been talking trash to Arch, so that's another story. That brings a whole new dynamic into it, and if that's the case, then so be it. But it just looks like, God damn, do that against Oklahoma or somebody in the Red River Shootout, and then we can talk. What else? There's really not that much. Like I said, the win got taken out of my sails with Rams plus 3.5. It really did. Last thing before we get into the recap, you saw Lane Kiffin's daughter's dating Whit Weeks.
Yeah.
I don't think I like that. I don't think that that's good. I think that I wouldn't put it past Lane Kiffin to send his daughter on a reconnaissance mission to try to get some intel. So, because she doesn't know the game plan. So Whit Weeks isn't getting anything out of her in terms of football fucking advantage.
Yeah.
But she rolls over like, hey, 3rd and short. Like, what? A-gap? What? And so he could – I just think it's bad. I think it's bad. I don't think it's good for LSU. Good for Whit Weeks, but, I mean, you look at Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin's a slime ball. I wouldn't put it past him. But what a time to hard launch the relationship.
Yeah, crazy. Crazy by her.
Definitely planned. Probably Lane's idea. Lane loves Twitter. He loves social media. He does.
You think they've met, him and Lane Kiffin?
Yeah. Definitely.
How long have they been dating?
I don't know. Rumors had been circulating that she had been in Baton Rouge for a minute now. Like, this wasn't, like, a brand new thing. But I don't know. We'll see. He said bet the over. You saw that?
Yeah.
Kiffin's a fucking square. All right, let's get into the recap. I don't really have too much. It was another positive week. But we were right there on the doorstep of it being better again, which has been the trending topic in college football for us. Iowa Rutgers over 45.5. There was 42 points scored in the first half, and I'd be lying to you if I said I didn't start sweating a little bit because there was 0 points scored in the third quarter, and back-to-back missed field goals. One might have been blocked. So I was like, okay, what the fuck's going on? They nearly hit the over in the first half. Opening kickoff was returned for a touchdown, and then a scoreless third quarter. I really was like, okay, we gotta hit this over, or we're gonna be in trouble. Louisville minus 26. They were covering the number. Nick was on the under. Both was looking very good. And then Louisville was beating the dog shit out of them, and they didn't care on the last drive. They let Bowling Green go march down and get a meaningless touchdown. So that hurt. That killed us on the spread and the total. So that was a double whammy. What looked like a double winner turned into a double loser. TCU minus 7. They were the superior team to SMU. It got a little closer than I would have even liked. There was a ball to the back of the end zone that should have been a touchdown, ended up being intercepted. A couple bad breaks that kept this game kind of hanging in the balance, but they pulled away and handled business. TCU was an easy winner. Florida plus 7.5 was frustrating because you would expect that everybody, this has been the season of overhyping quarterbacks with Cade Klubnik, DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers, Arch Manning, Levitt with Arizona State. Just about every, and you can make an argument Garrett Nussmeier, although I'm not in that camp. I still think that the jury's still out there. I didn't expect Lagway to be the fucking worst quarterback in the state of Florida. So the defense did what they needed to do. They kept this game close, and we felt like they could hold their own in the trenches, and I feel like they did that. Lagway's just really bad. I don't think they converted 1 third down. Billy Napier looks like a dipshit, and he coaches like 1-2. So it was a frustrating game. NC State and Duke over 58.5 cash. Same thing. We've been hammering overs this year. Every over we've taken is cashed in the third quarter, I think. Everyone, just other than maybe ECU and NC State to start the year. Boise State minus 10 got a little lucky with this one, although Boise ran it down their throat like I expected. I thought it would open up some more passing opportunities for Madsen. I didn't think Madsen played that spectacular, to be quite honest with you, but what stood out the most was Boise's inability to stop Air Force at all. A late run got us to the window, though, and we needed it. Utah minus 3 was my lock of the week, and this was a swing and a miss, big time. Texas Tech's D-line won the battle. That's what it came down to, was you had pro talent on either side of the lines. I thought that Utah would be able to hold their own and establish the run. They couldn't run the ball at all, and Dampier played like shit. So the starting quarterback for Texas Tech, Baron Morton, got hurt, and it didn't even fucking matter. So bad play, completely missed there. But still 4-3 on the week. Trending in the right direction. We're going to get them here soon, I promise. But we'll take 4-3, I guess. 16, 18, and 1 on the year. 2-2 in my locks of the week. You had 5 plays.
Yeah, you mentioned Louisville, Bowling Green under. Just a shitty way to lose there at the end. Before they had the meaningless touchdown, Louisville gave up a 75-yard rushing touchdown to the backup quarterback, who's coming in the game and you know he's going to run.
Yeah.
But it's like if that doesn't happen, this game definitely goes under. Western Michigan plus 14. Western Michigan wins outright against Toledo. They kind of muddied this game up. Toledo had a lot of plays in opponent territory, but wasn't able to come up with many points. Western Kentucky minus 10.5. I turned this game off before halftime because I thought Western Kentucky had no chance to cover the spread, and then I tune in with 30 seconds left. Western Kentucky's up 11. Nevada kicks the field goal there to go for the onside kick, down 8. I'm like, the only way we win this bet is if Western Kentucky returns the onside kick for a touchdown, and they did that. So I feel really bad for people that were on Nevada. I've been on the wrong side of an onside kick return for a touchdown. This was the first time I was on the right side. Louisiana Tech minus 3 was the lock, and it was everything that you think a lock would be. Louisiana Tech opened up the game. I think they were up 30-10 at halftime. They ended up winning 30-20. And then Florida plus 7.5. Florida's defense just was the only reason that this game was kind of close for a long time. The offense couldn't do anything.
So 3-2 brings you to 10, 11-1, 3-1 in your locks of the week. Bam, you had 2 plays. I believe you went 2-0.
Yes. Had Texas Tech, Utah under 57. Pretty easy winner there. And then my lock of the week was UNLV minus 2.5 against Miami, Ohio. Pretty miraculous cover here. I think it was a tied game. Miami, Ohio was driving. They broke off a long one. Guy punches the ball out. They drive down, kick a field goal. And then Miami, Ohio was going down. They had a 47-yarder or something like that to tie the game up. Fumble the snap, get tackled, game over, cover. It's pretty awesome.
So 2-0, what's your record?
5-6 on the season, 1-2 on my locks.
Alrighty. All right, we turn our attention to a loaded Week 5 in college football. Big-time matchups all weekend. How many total plays do you have?
4, maybe 5.
Okay. Hit the like and subscribe button. Like I said, if you don't mind, it helps us out big time. We're going to try to keep finding winners here. Starting, do you have anything Thursday?
No.
Just the one game, Army ECU. I'm not on it either. I lean ECU. Bam, do you have anything Thursday, Friday?
I do not.
Okay. Yeah, I lean ECU there, but I'm gonna hold off. What about Friday? Do you have anything?
Yeah.
How many?
1.
Which one is it?
TCU, Arizona State.
I'm on 2 on Friday, and it's not that one. So go ahead.
I'm going to take 2.5 with TCU. I wanted to take TCU last week. When it grew to 7, I just decided to stay away. TCU's, I think they're a team to keep an eye on in the Big 12. Arizona State, we were low on them coming into this year. They dropped one early against Mississippi State on the road. I don't know. I think TCU takes advantage here of a weak Arizona State pass defense, so we're going to take TCU plus 2.5.
Yeah, I think TCU's defense is much better than Baylor. Baylor just took Arizona State down to the wire, 27-24. Granted, it was a road win for Arizona State, but all right. My first one for Friday. We're going to Florida State and Virginia. Let's see. So, obviously, everybody knows Florida State reintroduced themselves with a dominant win over Alabama. Kind of blitzed them in the first half. Alabama tried to get their bearings there in the second half, but it was too little too late at that point. It is worth mentioning that Castellanos got rolled up on in their last game. He is expected to be fine, but not 100%, I would assume. He had to come out of the game. I don't think he returned, probably out of precaution, but that is noteworthy. I am not so sure that basically I think Florida State's being a little overhyped here. We saw them play a very good game against Alabama. Kind of blitzed them out the gates. I think it might have rained. Anytime you get a Kalen DeBoer team with rain, we've learned they fucking melt. But in all seriousness, I think that are we positive that Florida State's the 8th best team in the nation? I'm not. I got to see it again. In the form of we're going to take Virginia here plus 7. Getting a touchdown at home. I think Chandler Morris is playing very well. 71% completion percentage. He's thrown for over 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. I think that they have the defense to slow down a Florida State team that is, by all numbers, playing very well right now. But they got 2 tomato cans under the belt and then Alabama. But every stat you look at, Florida State's offense is checking all of the boxes. This Virginia team saw Castellanos last year with Boston College. He threw 2 interceptions in that game for what that's worth. This is not somebody that they haven't seen or are unfamiliar with. I think the Virginia defense will have enough to keep in this game, but I think that Chandler Morris and this offense will be able to score some points. So I'm going to take Virginia getting a touchdown, plus 7 on the home field. Did you look at that one?
No.
All right, my second one. We're going to go to Houston, going on the road to take on Oregon State, going all the way out to Corvallis. This is an interesting one. Money's come in on Houston. They bet the number up. Weird things happen out there in Corvallis. This Oregon State team's bad. It's not good at all. But they have had to play a gauntlet of quarterbacks to start the year. You had JKS at Cal, Baron Morton at Texas Tech, Dante Moore at Oregon, even Warner at Fresno State's a solid quarterback. One thing you can count on with this Houston team is that their defense is very good. All the same thing, just like I was saying with Florida State on the offensive side, Houston's checking all the boxes on the metrics on the defensive side. We're going to go under 47.5. It was 48.5. I would like that more, but I'm still going to take the under here. Neither team moves with a ton of pace. I don't think that Oregon State has much to write home about in terms of weapons, and Malik Murphy's just not really playing that great. More than that, the offensive line's bad. He doesn't have much time. The defense looks terrible, but like I said, they've played a gauntlet of quarterbacks at really tough matchups. Wegman, I wasn't blown away with his performance against Colorado. I don't know that I trust Wegman to consistently move the chains in this one, but I do trust the defense. So going on the road all the way out west, I think we could see a defensive battle here. So we're going to go Houston, Oregon State under 47.5. How many total do you have, Bam?
2.
Okay. Go with your first
one. All right, going to Alabama, Georgia. I am going to take Georgia -3 at home.
Okay. I thought I saw some 2.5s. Let's see. Are you on that one?
No.
I'm not either. I'm interested in it, obviously.
I got to love the big game to bet it.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, no, maybe no. No, they're heavily juiced. Yeah, take the 3. Okay. Alrighty. We go to Saturday. Let's see. Are you on USC, Illinois?
No.
Illinois just got beat by 1,000 points from Indiana, which was the most impressive win of the weekend, in my opinion. There's no 7s. I would take Illinois, though, with a 7. If I could get 7, I would take them. I think that's one of those. They're not as bad as that score indicates. They're not as good as what their ranking was. They weren't a top 10 team. But I think maybe a little bit, not even an overreaction. I think there was 7s and money came in on them. But all right, let's see. My first one, I'm going to take Louisville -3.5 against Pitt. We've been backing this Louisville team damn near every week. They should have covered last week, and he should have hit his under too. I didn't think Pitt looked very good in the backyard brawl. It did end up going to overtime. I just think that Louisville's going to have too much on offense, and then the defense, like I said, led by Lubin and the crew, they can get after the quarterback. I don't think Holstein's playing very well. So at only 3.5, I'll take Louisville. I really like what this offense is capable of doing, and I think you're going to see them get better and better as the year goes on. So, yeah, I'll take Louisville as my first play, -3.5. Where are you going for Saturday?
Rutgers, Minnesota. Are you on it?
I'm undecided.
Minnesota coming off of an early bye after a loss to Cal. It was a game that was closer than the final score indicates. 2 turnovers, including a muff punt at their own 10-yard line. Rutgers, this is going to be their first road game of the season. The offense has improved, but, man, what happened to Rutgers' defense? They aren't great at the line of scrimmage. They don't defend the pass well either. I think Minnesota's defense can slow down Rutgers enough here. Minnesota has a stuff rate of 33%, and they're only allowing a success rate of 23% on passing downs. I like Minnesota -4.5 here.
Okay. All right, let's see. I am going to go to don't want to go in chronological order. All right. So I'm going to go to Washington and Ohio State. Are you on this?
No.
Okay. Full disclosure, I got Washington at a much better number than what's currently available. So we are going to divert course. And I am going to take the over 51.5. Ohio State headed out west to Seattle. A team that's coming off of a bye week. Ohio State obviously beat Texas week 1. That win doesn't look as impressive with seeing how much Arch has struggled this year. Long story short, like I said, we're going to go over 51.5. This Washington team hasn't played anyone yet, but this offense has some serious weapons, led by quarterback Damon Williams Jr., running back Jonah Coleman, and then you've got Denzel Boston at wide receiver. These are NFL-caliber players. Denzel Boston will He's Rome Odunze 2.0. He is going to be an NFL wide receiver without question. Jonah Coleman's a very good running back. I think they have enough weapons on the offensive side of the ball to put points up on the board here. Defensively, Washington did not look very good to start this season. I was not impressed. I do think we could see Sayan struggle a little bit here going out west for his first road start. But there's just too many weapons on the offensive side of the ball for Ohio State. So I think they are going to be able to put some points up here, and I think Washington will have the firepower to match them, at least in some capacity. So we're going to take over 51.5 Washington and Ohio State. The crowd's going to go crazy out there. It's a good environment. It's going to be another question-answering game for Sayan and the Buckeyes, but I do think that Damon Williams is really good. I talked about him in the bowl game. That was one of the most impressive performances ever, and they went for the 2-point conversion like I needed them. Whether they got it or not, that cashed it for us. His ability to scramble and keep plays alive, and like I said, they have weapons on the outside, and Jonah Coleman's one of the better running backs in the country. So I'm going to hold out faith here that the Huskies will be able to put points up on the board. So over 51.5, Ohio State and Washington. What's your next one?
It's LSU Ole Miss. Do you want to wait for that or just go ahead with it?
How do you know I'm on it?
I don't, but
yeah, I'm on it. I almost made it my lock. It's not though.
Okay.
Your side or total?
Both.
Oh wow. Again?
Yeah.
Jesus.
That's the theme this year.
Do you want? Okay. Which one do you feel better about? Side or total?
I guess side.
Okay, I do as well. You're taking Ole Miss?
No.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, basically looking at this game, and if you've tracked the line movement in weeks past, you can tell that pro bettors and odds makers don't really know what to make of Ole Miss. It seems like they're kind of starting to think more of them, and LSU the same way. The win against Clemson just doesn't look that good now, because Clemson has totally fallen apart. And then the offense has struggled, right, in the games after that. So Ole Miss, I think this year, they're improved offensively. I know it's kind of crazy to say because their quarterback got drafted in the first round, but I think Ole Miss this year, they have a more legitimate rushing attack than they did last year, and I think that's what makes their offense better. But defensively, they aren't nearly the same, right? Last year, they were 4th in yards per play allowed. This year, they're coming in at 51st. Last year, they had the number 1 ranked rush defense. This year, they're ranking 100th. Last year, they had the 13th third down offense. This year, they're 62nd. Defensively, they aren't great at the line of scrimmage. They cannot stop the run, and they're vulnerable to the explosive pass. Now, I think just breaking down this game, one thing that I've been saying even before the season started is talking about the LSU defense. I think they're the best defense in the country. I think they'll slow down Ole Miss enough. I don't even know who they're going with at quarterback. It kind of seems like they probably should go with Chambliss now.
I agree.
But who knows? Similar style players, Chambliss, is that how you say it?
Yeah, Trinidad Chambliss, and then Austin Simmons was the starter.
Chambliss is a more elusive runner than Austin Simmons. Simmons can run, but not like Chambliss.
I think he's a little more willing to pull the trigger too.
Yeah.
Simmons was timid back there and kind of one read, it feels like.
This is a game where it's like, if it is low scoring, which I kind of think it is, that's why we're also on the under, which I haven't mentioned that yet, but it feels like LSU has the offense to put one drive together at the end to go win this game, if it comes down to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on LSU too. So just to set the table, I guess, LSU going on the road to Oxford to take on Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 1.5-point favorites. Total sits at 54.5. We've been on Ole Miss a couple times this year. Most recently was against Kentucky, a game that they should have covered, and Lane Kiffin's called a meaningless timeout, and blah, 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 doesn't matter. When I was handicapping Ole Miss and looking into their games, do you remember what stood out to me the most? I texted you about it.
I don't.
That's crazy because I only texted you one thing about it. Their right guard.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Their offensive line is a serious problem in the form of 3 players, all on the interior. Left guard, center, right guard. You've got right guard Patrick Kutas, center Bryson Sanders, and left guard Delano Townsend. Of the 800 graded offensive linemen by Pro Football Focus, these 3 rank outside of the top 600. They're bad. It jumped out on tape to me, specifically the right guard, when I can pull up who it was. They played somebody. It was against Georgia State, I think it was. It was clear that they were at a disadvantage, and not at a disadvantage, I guess. That's the wrong way to say it. It was clear that they have a tremendous problem at the right guard position, and it was giving up a lot of pressure. There was tip interceptions as Simmons was trying to throw. Whether they go with Chambliss or Simmons, it doesn't fucking matter to me because the interior linemen are really bad on this team. So I'll introduce you to Bernard Gooden and Patrick Payton and Pyburn and, Harold Perkins. All of these guys are going to have their way, in my opinion, at the line of scrimmage, at the point of attack. This this LSU defense is the real deal. I don't care that Clemson stinks. Dabo's an idiot. I know. I understand. Klubnik was never that good. He was overhyped to begin with. It doesn't matter to me because at the point of attack in the trenches, you can see that LSU is the real deal. And guess what? On the back end, the corners, Delane, take your pick, go down the line. There's plenty of guys that can hold up on the back end in man-to-mans in single coverage. You can put Delane out on an island. Chambliss is going to have to be the second coming of Johnny Manziel and scramble for his life and just make these incredible plays, in my opinion, because I don't think he's going to have time. Maybe he is the real deal. Look, he lit up Tulane. That's great. This isn't Tulane. These guys in the trenches, it's a completely different ball game here. Arkansas gave him a little bit of a run. It was 28. It was 31-28 at halftime. Ole Miss scored 10 points in the second half. I think this LSU defense will manhandle the Ole Miss offensive line. And like I said, I think we have the secondary on the back end to hold up in the event that they get a little extra time. I think it'll be a low-scoring game, but I think this could be an opportunity where maybe we see the LSU offense wake up a little bit because there's just too many weapons on the outside for them to be lackluster for the entire season. It's just the facts. So you have too many guys out there. Garrett Nussmeier's the best quarterback in the country. Argue with whoever you want, but it's just the way it is. He'll be the number 1 pick in the NFL draft. Worrisome is that Caden Durham did get a high ankle sprain. But this is big game Lane Kiffin. This is what he does. Take the over. Oh, yeah. Shove it up your fucking ass. Okay? I would lean under for sure. I'm just going to take LSU, getting the 1.5. It's the better football team. You're going to give me points. I don't care if it's on the road or at home. I really don't. Chambliss or Simmons, it doesn't matter. I'd prefer Simmons. If it's Simmons, it's great. But I think LSU's defense is as advertised. And I think you can see that. That's not something that the offense isn't clicking. And it's a different ballgame when you're looking in the trenches. You can see Gooden and the speed he has and the strength he has in the interior. These guys, I'm telling you, look, some people, I think Pro Football Focus is good in spots and bad in others. And I think they're good in terms of the offensive lineman grades and things like that. I put stock into the fact that these 3 guys in the interior grade outside of the top 600 of all eligible linemen. There's only 800 that you can pick from. Their 3 starters in the interior are fucking bottom of the barrel. It's not going to work for you. I don't think it will. So I'm going to take LSU plus 1.5. You're doing the same and under what?
54.5.
All right, let's see.
Yeah, this kicks off a gauntlet for LSU, right?
Yeah.
4 of the next 5 games are against ranked opponents, and the 1 unranked opponent, South Carolina. So,
yeah, maybe they have a guy. Maybe he's the real fucking deal. But Chambliss going and taking on Tulane and doing what he did is not something that's going to scare me off of taking LSU here. So I don't think he's going to be able to run on us like he did Tulane. He had 14 carries for 112 yards. He scampered for a 41-yard run. I just think Blake Baker and his ability to scheme up the defense and different looks that we're able to throw at them and the speed we have. You could put Harold Perkins, you could spy him with Perkins if you want, or there's just so many options that you can do. So yeah, I'm taking LSU. Let's see. I am going to go to my next one. We're going to go to Auburn, Texas A&M. Are you on this, or did you look at it?
No.
Okay. So I am going to, believe it or not, we're going to go over 52.5. I leaned Auburn, but the spot for Auburn's really tough. So you're getting a rested A&M. They had a bye week after their game against Notre Dame, probably one of the best games that you'll see all year, a late win for the Aggies. Auburn with a back-to-back road games, coming off the tough game against Oklahoma, a game in which, to be quite honest with you, they got hosed on the wrong side of multiple egregious calls. It's tough to have to turn right back around. Now you got to go to Kyle Field in a really tough environment to go play. Auburn has the weapons on the outside. With Coleman, and you went out and you got Singleton from Georgia Tech, $1 million wide receiver. They have the weapons. They have the talent. It's just, will Jackson Arnold get rid of the ball and put it in the hands of his fantastic wide receivers? He has to. He's got to stop holding on to it for as long as he is. His mobility is an asset, but he's got to use it at the right times. I think we'll see him try to make a concerted effort to get the ball to his playmakers. I'm not blown away by this Texas A&M defense because I don't think Notre Dame's offense is that great. People think Carr played fantastic and he's grading out really well and this and that. I wasn't blown away, but this A&M defense did allow him to throw for nearly 300 yards. Notre Dame scored 30-plus points on offense. They had the block punt resulting in a touchdown, so that's why they scored 40, but 30-plus points on offense. I think Marcel Reed's ability to run, and he's got weapons over there with Moss and Craver at wide receiver, and I think there's weapons on the field here. I think that we're going to see some points scored. So I'm going to go Auburn, Texas A&M over 52.5. Let's see. So, Bam, all you have left is your lock, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, really? Okay. I have 1, 2, and then my lock. Let's go to Oregon and Penn State, arguably the biggest game. Alabama, Georgia is a huge one. Ole Miss, LSU is a huge one. There's a ton of good games. It really is. This is a huge week. All right, Oregon going on the road to take on Penn State. Penn State's 3.5-point favorites on the home field in Happy Valley. I've been really impressed with Oregon. I think they've exceeded expectations so far. I kind of felt like they were a little overhyped coming into the year, but Dante Moore looks good. They've been largely untested, though. So they played Montana State. Then you got to play Oklahoma State, Power 4 school. Mike Gundy just got fired. Oklahoma State, this is the worst they've looked in a long, long time, and I don't know if they won a game last year. It was horrible, at least in conference play. They beat Oklahoma State 69-3. They beat Northwestern 34-14, and then they beat Oregon State 41-7. So they've been running through teams. They've played 2 Power 4 schools. Two. Oregon State's on the outs. Penn State hasn't played anybody. Nevada, FIU, and Villanova. They've given up 17 total points on the year. Same thing. Largely untested. Long story short, we're going to take Penn State minus 3.5 here. I think you went out and got Jim Knowles for this type of game. I think Kotelnicki calling plays. They've been keeping a lot of things close to the vest here, about as vanilla as you could possibly get. I think that home field advantage is one of the best in the country. We saw it with SMU last year going there. They couldn't do a thing. The crowd basically beat them themselves. Aller, I'm going to hold out hope that Drew Aller is better than he was last year because he was not good enough. You went out and got all these wide receivers in the portal. You brought in all this talent. You got the 2-headed monster at running back. They're the more balanced offense, in my opinion. I think that we can see Dante Moore get a little thrown to the wolves here and struggle in spots. Northwestern, if I remember correctly, it was a slow start to that game. Northwestern just couldn't do anything on the offensive side of the ball. Yeah, it was 17-0 at halftime. We're going to take Penn State minus 3.5. I think that they've been playing their cards close to the vest. I will be very surprised if they come out and lay an egg, or if Oregon runs them out of the building here. I would be shocked. 3.5 is not enough to scare me away, so I will take the Nittany Lions. What are your thoughts on that one? Did you look into it?
No, but yeah, I lean Penn State. I guess a 3 hasn't popped yet.
I've been looking, unless it just did.
No, it's not.
I haven't seen one.
But 3.5, even money.
I would imagine.
I don't know if a 3 will show up or not. It's a guess at this point.
I mean, it's worth waiting on.
Yeah.
Like for the sake of the show, I'm going to give out 3.5. But yeah, I mean, if you could get even money with a 3.5, you would assume maybe you see one pop. I would imagine it's going to get bought up very quick. So keep an eye on it. I would definitely jump on it if you can. But yeah, Penn State minus 3.5. I've got one more and then my lock. We're going to go to App State taking on Boise. Let me get a number just to be sure. Yeah, okay. Still widely available. All right, we're going to take App State getting 16.5 here. We were on Boise last week. We were lucky for them to cover. The running backs are the real deal. They have three different running backs that are all equally as capable. The problem here is that none of them are as good as Ashton Genty, and none of them require as much attention as Ashton Genty. They were loading up 9 players in the box. It was very easy for Maddox Madsen. Things were put on a platter for him to have success. He's not having that success this year, in my opinion. The bigger problem is that Boise's defense is not good. Outside of a couple top-tier pass rushers, this defense is struggling. They allowed Air Force to produce 515 yards of offense, 246 passing yards for a Service Academy team. It was really bad. The quarterback, it did not look like a Service Academy team. We'll just put it that way. I don't think Madsen looks sharp. The thing with App State, if they have a strength, it's their ability to stop the run. I would rather 17 points. We'll take App State plus 16.5. I think that they'll be able to bottle up the run enough to put Maddox Madsen in a position where he's got to beat him with his arm. I haven't been impressed with what I've seen this year, so I'll take App State plus 16.5. And all we have left are our locks?
Yep.
Okay. All right, no such thing as a lock of the week, but if there was...
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need... Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
Funnily enough, my lock of the week's Minnesota minus 4.5. We don't talk about our plays beforehand, so that shows you we're both in the same area code here. Rutgers going to take on Minnesota. So the return of Ethan Callie-McManus back where it all started. Rutgers is coming off the loss to Iowa. They started fast, but only 7 second-half points in that one. I think Minnesota's defense is extremely good, but above that, I was very impressed with Drake Lindsey, redshirt freshman. I think he can make the throws. I think they have enough weapons on the outside here. I think defensively, Minnesota will bottle up Rutgers and make life. They're going to make Callie-McManus take the underneath throws and not make the mistakes, and he's playing very well. I will say he's still grading out as the number 1 quarterback, but things came to a screeching halt there in that second half against Iowa. I think that Minnesota, a rested Minnesota team, has the ability to bottle up this offense here. Darius Taylor, very good running back from Minnesota, probably out, hurt his hamstring in their last game, so he's had some time. Maybe he comes back. I'm not betting on it. Fame Ijiboy, I think is how you pronounce it. Very quality running back as well. So they have all they need to be able to move the ball here, and I think it's a tough place to go play. Like Nick touched on earlier, that 27-14 win for Cal against Minnesota is very misleading because they missed a field goal that would have tied the game. Then they turned right back around, forced a 3 and out, and then muffed a punt inside the 10-yard line. So put behind the 8 ball, it's a misleading score. I think that Minnesota is going to be able to handle Rutgers here. It's been a fun start for Rutgers and all of that. Iowa, a team that can't throw the ball, they just can't. Went in there and handled business in that second half against Rutgers. So, give me Minnesota minus 4.5 as my lock of the week. Which way are you going?
Kramer, you've had this thing under control for almost 3 years.
It's our first play of the week. I lied. I'm on FSU at Virginia. Florida State. It's basically everything you said. Really impressive win against Alabama.
You're taking Virginia?
Yes.
What
I
are the
personally
odds of that?
believe Alabama came out flat. And on top of that, it's not the old Alabama that we're used to without Nick Saban. Since then, Florida State played a couple nobodies.
Yeah.
Right? Pump the brakes on Florida State, in my opinion. Virginia's been really impressive. You mentioned it. Chandler Morris, 8 touchdowns, 1 interception. He's throwing less interceptions because he's running the ball more.
Yeah.
9.4 yards per rush as well. 11th nationally. Virginia is offensively in yards per play. Virginia overall, good team offensively, and I think a solid team defensively as well. Big thing here is we're still unsure about FSU, so we're going to take Virginia plus the points at home.
Yeah, I'm in firm agreement. What are the odds of that? You would think we talked about it, but I swear to God we don't. Bam, what is your lock of the week?
LSU Ole Miss going under 54.5.
Okay.
You already touched up on it, but 17-13 LSU victory here. Hit the under. Okay. Calling my shot.
What you doing? Basically copying the Clemson score?
Yeah. Okay, Bam. Just give out the damn pick and keep it moving. Calling an exact score. Okay.
What's the exact score bet odds on that?
Probably very high.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah,
if I were you,
so.
I would mix the under there. If he's calling out exact scores, this is going to be 65 to fucking 58. All right, to recap, I am going to take Virginia plus 7.5, Houston, Oregon State under 47.5, Washington, Ohio State over 51.5, Auburn, Texas A&M over 52.5, LSU plus 1.5, Penn State minus 3.5, App State plus 16.5, and my lock of the week, the Minnesota Golden Gophers minus 4.5.
We're going Virginia plus 7. It's the lock. TCU plus 2.5. Minnesota minus 4.5. LSU plus 1.5, and LSU Ole Miss under 54.5.
Alrighty, Bam.
Going Georgia minus 3 and LSU under 54.5 with a score of 17-13.
Okay, we're
Still doing that.
still doing that. Okay. Alrighty, there you go. That is our best bets for college football week 5, including our locks of the week. We now turn our attention to the NFL. We're going to recap real quick, and then we'll give you our best bets for week 4. Again, hit that like and subscribe button if you don't mind. All right, it was a 3-3 week for me in the NFL. We've been running pretty good. That was my worst week of the year so far. Beggars can't be choosers, I guess, but we touched on it already. Rams plus 3.5. It's the difference between going 4-2 and not. Dolphins plus 12.5 on Thursday. We did it again. Dolphins, realistically, if Tua doesn't stink, Dolphins could flirt with the chance to win this game. Browns plus 8.5. Bam, what are your thoughts? What'd you learn?
Good bet.
No, see, I texted Bam. This is the problem. Bam thinks I'm like rubbing it in. I swear, Bam thinks
you were kind of rubbing it in.
No, I was not. I told Bam, you had no takeaways from that game? You were on the Packers. Packers were a lazy play.
They were.
Why do you feel that way?
Because they were doing so good, and all of a sudden I just jumped on them.
He just doesn't get it. He doesn't get it. He doesn't get it.
You gotta be ahead of the curve, Bam.
Yeah, but I texted him.
You don't want to be late to the party.
Yeah,
it ended, buddy. It's over for the Packers.
Everybody was cleaning up, and you're fucking showing up with a 6-pack. I tried to tell Bam though, because there's a way you bet the NFL, and that's a big number. That's a big number. And so I gave out Browns plus 8.5. You took Packers minus 8.5. The number came down to 7.5. Not a crazy difference, but we took the Browns as a contest play. So we were that confident in it. You're looking at it's just a lazy take in terms of like, yes, Packers look great. And like I said, I knew you were going to take that because that was, no offense, a square play. And you're not there yet. You're going to get there. But you gotta like I said, when I tell you respectfully shove Packers minus 8.5 up your ass, like
it's all right. Seeing the light now.
You say that though. You've said that every week. We're not seeing it yet. I'll let you know when you're seeing the light. You're not seeing it yet. We'll see what you take this week. But the Browns legitimately have what may be the best defense in football. And you saw it. Now, did I think the Browns were going to win the fucking game? No. Jordan Love, really bad interception there at the end. But yeah, it's just that was at home getting that many points with a defense like that. It's tough. It's tough to go in there and beat that team, laying a big number, and then somehow the fucking Browns pulled off the win, which was remarkable. Giants plus 6.5. Similar scenario here. The problem is that Russell Wilson fucking sucks. Like, that was almost worse than the Rams plus 3.5, was to have to watch fucking Russell Wilson throw in a 4-play span. They called a fucking quarterback sneak for one, which is just the dumbest fucking play call on like 2nd and 9. But I had to watch Russell Wilson throw it to the back of the fucking tunnel. And then he threw one off the crossbar with nobody in the vicinity. This jackass doesn't know that it's fucking 4th down. Russell Wilson stinks. So much so that they benched his dumbass. You should have benched him last week. But the Giants had plenty of opportunities to cover this number. I don't know if you were watching this game, but Mahomes keeps trying to throw balls backwards. Mm-hmm. He threw one. Did you see the play?
I saw both of them.
He fucking got the ball back. That was the most incredible play of the game.
The first one they blew dead.
I understand. But the second one
yeah,
should have been a fucking walk-in touchdown for the Giants. But not only was it not that, he got the ball back. That's one of the most impressive plays I've ever seen. Like, that's the difference, is that even they don't have the weapons or the offensive line and this and that. And I called a potential down year from the Chiefs. He's so good, though. He's such a good, just a smart player. He knew on both of them, fuck, that's backwards. And I was like, what just fucking happened? We went from not only not getting a scoop and score touchdown, they didn't even get the fucking ball. I don't know how he took it out of the guy's hands. That's the epitome of he wanted it more. The cliche of, like, when you're training, like, you got to want it more than your opponent. He fucking yanked it out of his hand. I couldn't believe that happened. I really couldn't. That made me sick to my stomach, because the Giants should have covered this number. If Russell Wilson doesn't absolutely suck. You had so many backdoor opportunities where the Chiefs didn't give a fuck. But to not get that ball, what should have been a scoop and score touchdown, it was like the 5-yard line. I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. Rams plus 3.5, we already touched on it. The fucking worst bet beat of all time. Raiders and Commanders under 44.5 was my lock of the week. Hand up. Bad. But also, Jesus Christ, every fucking punt or kick return was nearly taken to the house. The opening kick, Debo, fat fucking Debo, nearly took it. I think he had like an 80-yard return. I think there was another punt return for a touchdown. It was a disaster in terms of special teams in the return game. Vikings -3. I hopped on it with you. Easiest play of the fucking year. So I go 3-3. Brings me to 12-7. 2-1 of my locks of the week. 12-7. We could be looking at fucking like 15-4. Like right there. And it's so I said that's the sick part about what we do, is that this is a good year. I'm off to a good start. It's been a profitable start. And I'm fucking losing sleep over the Rams and the Ravens and the fucking Texans. You dial up the perfect blitz. You got him.
Yeah.
You fucking got him. You beat him on that play, and Toa can't fucking make a tackle. So I don't know. But go ahead. You had 4 plays.
Yeah,
that's the problem. Nobody's there. I talk like this to my wife, exactly like that, and she just sits there on TikTok. I'm like, great.
I was there.
Nobody fucking like you need something that you'll never get.
I knew. I'm like, I'm not even. I was texting before. At least we have plus 3.5. We should be in good shape here. Up 5. You don't fucking envision that happening. So once that happened, I was like, just let them be. I can only imagine. I just picture you fucking smashing everything.
No, I didn't. I literally, it was just, but no, I texted Bam exactly that. I said, shove Packers all the way up your ass, respectfully. And then I was like, oh, kick for the win. I got up and I was standing right here and I had my hands like this. I was like, and then it gets blocked. I'm like, and then Jordan Davis picks it up.
Weak ass effort by the holder to get on the ball.
Yeah.
He just rolled over like this.
But I didn't. I just went and like sat down. I was like, this sucks. Because it was a contest play. And that's, dude, it's like, you got to get those. You can't have multiple of those type of losses in a year. And we've had them in the first 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So just very unfortunate. It's been a great start to the year, like I said, but goddamn. Yeah, you had your 4 plays. You nearly had the 4-0 sweep.
Yeah, we were both on Dolphins. We were both on Vikings. I had the Chargers minus 2.5. Chargers got out to a 10-0 lead, and I think it was a 4th down and 1 or 4th down and 2. Right as the half was ending, the Broncos went for it and caught the Chargers off guard. It was a long touchdown, so kind of flipped the script there. The Chargers ended up being down in the second half. It took a really incredible play by Justin Herbert, a touchdown throw to Keenan Allen to tie the game. Then the Chargers got the ball back.
Yeah,
got in field goal range.
That was a fucking incredible throw.
Yeah, the total play, though, he evaded the pressure.
Yeah.
He's in a pretty awkward position to get the ball off, and he did and delivered a strike.
Rolling to his left. And that was – so, yeah, what were your thoughts about that one? Because we didn't really talk about it. But this was one we were considering for a contest play. We decided to call an audible last minute, and they covered the number, though. But I was worried that, I mean, it's a divisional game, and I do think the Broncos' defense is fucking good. I just don't think that Bo Nix is playing very good.
No, he's okay, and but a lot of his shortcomings get, I guess,
covered up by the defense.
And then Sean Payton calling plays. Because the way I saw this game, the way it went is the Chargers had 29 first downs. The Broncos only had 9.
Yeah.
The Broncos did a very good job of timely play calls, right?
Mm-hmm.
That got them the lead. That got them back in the game, then got them the lead. And it just, the whole time it felt like it was going to come down to a field goal. So when the Chargers tied it, I was like, okay, either the Broncos are going down to kick a game-winning field goal or the Chargers are going to get the ball back and kick a game-winning field goal. So, no, I ended up upgrading the Broncos a little bit after this game. I thought just overall, I guess in the first couple games, the defense kind of didn't play that great. I thought they played much better here. They kind of harassed Herbert. That was another thing. The Chargers had some guys go down on the offensive line here in this game, so that didn't help.
Yeah, I have to pee so bad. So you got to recap talk about the Ravens, and I almost always can hold it. I can't. I got to get, I'm not, all my picks are going to lose if I don't pee.
Okay. Yeah, the Ravens -4 was our Monday Night Football play. It was the last play of the week. I'm not sure what to make of the Ravens now. I think the Ravens, coming into this year, we were like, the Ravens are the best team, right? And then, week 1, they let the Bills come back after getting out to like what seemed like an insurmountable lead in the fourth quarter, and then somehow the Bills come back against the Lions this past week, though. Lions go down and score first, Ravens answer, so you kind of get the feel that this game's going to be, kind of who has the ball last is going to win. But the Ravens aren't able to score in the red zone. I don't know what their issue is, and the other concern with the Ravens is their defense has a ton of big name guys, but they just aren't playing that great. It seemed like they were playing great on first and second down, but how did the Lions fared pretty good on third down in this game? I think they were about 50%.
Yeah, they were just completely stopping Lamar's ability to run, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he was scrambling and, not throwing the ball out, just taking like 20-yard sacks. It was pretty crazy to see. Not used to seeing Lamar do that,
Yeah, but the big thing to me was like, can they just get a stop? This is a Ravens defense that star-studded talent, and they allow 38 points. They allow 426 total yards of offense to the Lions.
And took away my fantasy win.
The Lions were 7 of 14 on third down, but when they failed on 3 of those third downs, they picked it up on fourth down. So they were 3 on fourth down. And then in the red zone, that's the difference here. The Lions were 4 of 5 in the red zone. The Ravens were 2 of 4. If you can move the ball but you can't punch it in, you're not going to be able to beat a good offense.
All right, I'm back. I feel so much better. Talking about the Lions and the Ravens. Yeah, they have a serious problem in the red zone. Just not. I didn't hear entirely what all y'all were saying. No, I think the Ravens have something that they got to figure out. and I was about to text you, but then I was like, yeah, fuck it, whatever. It's either a Lamar problem or it's a play calling problem, and it might be both. The red zone play calling is some of the worst I've seen. The difference is, though, I thought it was funny because the Lions get the ball on 4th down at midfield. I'm like, you got to go for this. And they did, and they got it. Great play call, great throw and catch, perfect throw by Goff. But it's the difference in coaching. You got Dan Campbell, who will live or die by the sword with the aggressiveness and going for it on 4th down, and then you got John Harbaugh, who punts the ball back to fucking Josh Allen and loses the game. So, but I don't know what it is. Obviously, Derrick Henry keeps fumbling, and that's a problem. If I was Baltimore, honestly, I would exhaust everything I could to go get like a Tyreek Hill or somebody like that. Find somebody. They need another weapon on the offensive side of the ball. I don't know if Tyreek Hill is necessarily the guy, but you got Mark Andrews leading the way, 6 catches for 91 yards. Rashad Bateman, Justice Hill was your 3rd leading receiver. Zay Flowers just isn't good. He's not good enough. I don't know. I still have the Ravens power rated as the best team in the league, but something's off. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, just overall, I mean, we were talking about it just a second ago. They had no business dropping it. They totally collapsed against the Bills. And then this game, we were talking about it. It's like the defense, what's up with this defense? They have so many great players.
I mean, they were without, was it Matabuke or whatever?
Yeah,
and Van Noy. Van Noy's a big one, too. So they were without some critical pass rushers. But, yeah, I mean, you gave up 426 yards, 224 yards rushing. I don't know. It's honestly, it's head-scratching.
Early on in this game where it seemed like Baltimore could have had an edge, it was like 3rd downs. There was a fucking, they allowed 2 90-yard drives, I think.
They kept getting a 3rd and long. I texted you, I'm like, are they just going to keep sitting in a fucking soft-ass zone? Like, what are you doing? Everybody raves about Kyle Hamilton and the secondary and this and that. So it's like, okay, when are you going to trust him to, like, cover on the back end and send pressure? Don't give him all day. If you keep giving Goff all day, he's going to find somebody underneath. They've got too many weapons on that offense.
Yeah, the Lions had an 18-play, 98-yard touchdown drive that took up 10 minutes and 48 seconds in the second quarter.
Yeah.
And then in the fourth quarter, it was another one. 7-play, 96-yard drive that resulted in another Lions touchdown.
Yeah, this was a really impressive game from the Lions.
Yes.
This was meaning that they lose their coordinators and all of that. They're not going anywhere. That's what this told you. Jared Goff looked pretty damn good. Amon-Ra St. Brown's one of the best wide receivers in football. They've just got a ton of weapons. Laporta, go down the list. This Ravens team, though, yeah, I don't know. Because it's like, I didn't downgrade the Ravens. Not really. But something's just off, and the offense is – Lamar needs to make up his mind. He's either going to run or he's not, and he'll scramble around, and then he's trying to find somebody. He needs to use his legs more. There was that time there where it was like he's running all over everybody, and nobody could stop him. 3rd down, moving the chains should be no problem for them. The red zone should be no problem for them. With him and Derrick Henry and both of their ability to run – it's like we talked about before we started recording. Derrick Henry will get stuffed on the fucking 1-yard line like you've never seen before. He's so big, but he struggles on the goal line. And then you would just think with Lamar's ability to scramble and roll out and this and that life would be easy for them in the red zone, but it's just not. And they're very predictable. They run the play action when it's like clearly you're not going to run the football. I don't know. They have something that they got to figure out. I think they will. Figure it out, but they don't look great right now. So you went 3-1, brings you to 8-4, 2-1 in your locks of the week. I don't know if you already said that or not. Bam, you went 1-1.
I went 2-1.
Okay.
Yeah, but I had Dolphins Bills over 49.5. Green Bay Cleveland had Green Bay minus 8.5.
What happened there?
That went.
I was gonna say what happened on that one.
And then my lock of the week was the Chargers minus 2.5 versus the Broncos. Nick already touched up on that.
Yeah.
So 6-4 overall, 2-1 on the locks of the week.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been telling Bam that he needs to adjust the way he thinks and looks at these games. It doesn't mean, and look, as far as the Packers and the Browns go, it doesn't mean like, oh, guaranteed Browns are going to cover that game every time. The Packers had a chance. The Packers were up 10. Browns couldn't do anything. But you just assume like they're going to put some points on the board. With a defense like that, they're going to keep games close. The back door is probably always going to be available. So it doesn't mean that take the Giants, like I said, for example, they don't cover. They had the opportunity, though. When you have a defense like that with the D-line causing pressure or a lackluster offense like the Chiefs have, it's just hard to cover big numbers in the NFL. And a lot of times it's not as simple as like, yeah, the Packers look so good. There's like the saying, like when you blow a team out, you're not as good as you look, and when you get blown out, you're not as bad as you look. Especially in the NFL, the talent's very close, and so we're working on the way that you process these games, and we're gonna get there. But you gotta handle the constructive criticism. And when I tell you, fucking Browns are about to shove it up their ass, you should listen. All right, we turn our attention to NFL Week 4, and we got to find out if we can do it again on Thursday night. We said it last week. We might be the best in America at betting the Thursday night football game, and we cashed another winner with the Dolphins plus 12.5. A lot of people are probably tuning in to see what we're taking in this game. Hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. It helps us out big time, and we need the help. Numbers are moving in the right direction, and I'm confident that we're going to get to where we want them to be, but we're not there yet. But you know what'll help? Cash on the fucking Thursday night game again. I went back and looked because we always try to Thanksgiving, it gets a little wonky with the record because you got so many games, and it's not a traditional Thursday night football game. Going into Thanksgiving last year, I think I was 9-3, you were 8-4. So this is an every year thing. This is not anything new. But this is another one. Very tightly contested. Could go either way. Seahawks going on the road to take on the Cardinals. Cardinals were 1.5-point favorites. The line flipped. It is now Seattle minus 1.5. You could probably find a 1, actually.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, Seattle minus 1. Total right around 43.5. Do you feel good? And is it side or total?
I'm going to go side.
Okay.
Do I feel good?
Okay. We didn't talk about it. For the sake of continuity, it would be cool if we were both on the same side. But I think I got to go Seahawks. You going Cardinals?
I lean Cardinals.
I knew it.
I think Seahawks are the obvious play here, but I think the main issue with the Cardinals is closing out games, right?
Yeah.
You look at they're 2-1 the first game against the Saints. Had a little bit issue closing the game there. The Saints had the ball in the end zone with almost a catch to tie it. And then the second game against the Panthers, they were about to go up, I think, maybe 4 possessions.
Yeah.
And then Kyler Murray throws a bad interception where his arm gets hit, and then all of a sudden the Panthers have the ball with a chance to win the game there at the end. And then last week against the 49ers, they had the game won, and then the 49ers get the ball back, I think off a Kyler Murray interception, and 49ers kick the game-winning field goal.
Yeah, so here's my worry in terms of the Cardinals because, yeah, Cardinals are at home. It's a divisional matchup. All of that matters. The Saints fucking suck, which we just saw. And I'm not saying, the Seahawks blew the Saints out of the water. Look, there was a lot of special teams. Special teams had a big factor in that game, and the Saints were down what felt like 3 scores in the blink of an eye. So, but we're not good. And the Cardinals, especially on the defensive side of the ball, we're not good. We're not a good football team. We're terrible on third down. We're terrible everywhere. Cardinals won 20-13. Juwan Johnson had a ball in his hands for us to go tie it up. The Panthers are not good. They're better than maybe what people give them credit for. We've been kind of banging the drum for Bryce Young for a couple years now. They've got talent at the wide receiver position, and it's a misleading final score. But you said it yourself. One, you were on the Panthers. They covered the number. They had a chance to fucking go win the game. And then you lose to the 49ers with a ton of injuries, number one at the quarterback position. You've got Mac Jones in there. And then I think, did Mac Jones finish the game? He hurt his knee. So I'm not impressed with the Cardinals. And I don't think Marvin Harrison Jr. is good. That's a whole nother story for another day. Him winning the fucking Biletnikoff over Malik Neighbors was a joke. We all knew it. He doesn't look good. He doesn't look dynamic with the ball after the catch, and he can't catch. McBride's one of the better tight ends in the league, I understand. James Conner is out for the rest of the year. He's having surgery. I don't think that's much of a downgrade, to be quite honest with you. I think Trey Benson, James Conner was not very effective to start this year. It's unfortunate that he got hurt, but I think Trey Benson probably is going to be a little more effective than what we saw with Conner. But I've been impressed with Seattle. I've been impressed with Darnold. I think the thing with Darnold is he can't sustain it over the course of a season. But Seattle's defense is what's impressing me the most. McDonald came over as the D coordinator for the Ravens, and he's got this defense playing really good. Kyler Murray, for what it's worth, if you like trends, 2-8 against the Seahawks in his career. Lost both matchups last year. We may have to go opposites here. I leaned over as well, but I think I'm going to take Seattle. I think Seattle's the better team. I understand it's at home for the Cardinals, but that win, like I said, that win against Pittsburgh, I was impressed with Darnold, the plays he was able to make there down the stretch and move the chains at critical point in times. So yeah, I'm going to take the Cardinals minus 1.5 on a spread that flipped. Obviously, we would rather get the 1.5.
You can get them at 1.
Right.
You're going to take the Seahawks.
Yeah. Did I say Cardinals? Sorry. I'm going to take the Seahawks -1 on the road.
All right, I'm going to take the Cardinals +1.5.
Okay. Bam, which way are you going?
I'm going Seahawks -1.
Okay. Let's see. Yeah, and I mean, the Seahawks obviously were dealing with injuries on the back end of the secondary, and I'm hoping that they can get a couple of those guys back. But yeah, Darnold, for what it's worth, too, is grading out as the number 1 quarterback by Pro Football Focus. I think if there's any position that they struggle to grade, it would be the quarterback position. But that was interesting to say the least. And I think they got good running back options, and then just the skill positions, all of it. I don't know. I think I think they got a good head coach. I think McDonald's a good head coach, and I'm just not. It's one of those things with Kyler. It's the same way I feel about Tua, where it's like they are who they are at this point. I don't think you're going to see them be leaps and bounds better at this point in their career. All right, let's see. How many total do you have?
I think maybe just 3 this week.
Okay. All right, we'll go with your 1 then, and then so 1 and then your lock.
Yeah, maybe another one, but we'll touch on it.
Okay.
We're gonna go to Panthers at Patriots. We're gonna lay 5.5 points with the Patriots.
Okay.
Panthers coming off of a shocking win against the Falcons. Patriots, I thought they looked pretty damn good other than the fumbles against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I thought Drake May looked pretty sharp in this game. I thought their defense looked better than the previous 2 games. So I like the Patriots here, -5.5.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on this as well. And like you touched on, Patriots dominated the box score. I don't know what you do with Ramondre Stevenson other than sit him on the bench at this point. He can't hold on to the football.
Well, fucking Gibson came in after and fumbled.
No, I know.
It's like, well, who do they give it to now? Henderson?
Yes.
Is all they got.
Yeah, give it to Henderson every time. That's what I would do. Yeah, I think this is – I think the Patriots – Drake May's playing very well. He is. So that was a misleading score. They should have won that game. I'm going to go to the Jaguars. Let's see. Why did this – Jaguars on the road taking on the 49ers. Okay. Yeah, what is going on? Is there a 3.5 at FanDuel? These numbers are moving.
It's juiced.
It's minus 120.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather that, but all right, I'll take the Jaguars plus 3. It sounds like Purdy's going to be back. Mac Jones obviously got hurt. It sounds like Purdy is coming back. I haven't been impressed with the 49ers. I really haven't. And then now you got Bosa going on. He tore his ACL, so he's done for the year. It was a low-scoring game, but I was impressed with Jacksonville against the Texans, who obviously have a bunch of issues. I think this Jaguars team's not bad. I think I trust Cohen to get the offense going, and Brian Thomas is going to wake up, and he's going to start producing. And I think they have enough weapons on the offensive side of the ball that they'll be able to put some points up on the board here. I've just that win over Seattle for the 49ers, it took the last second touchdown to the backup tight end. The Saints had plenty of opportunities with Mac Jones, obviously, at quarterback, but and then you get the 1-point win over Arizona. I haven't really been impressed with the 49ers, so I would have rather the 3.5. Technically, I got 3.5, but it just moved, so I'll take Jaguars plus 3. How many total do you have, Bam?
2 more than my lock.
All right, go ahead with one.
All right, going Sunday noon kickoff. Browns at Lions. I'm gonna go the under 44.5 here.
Okay. All righty. I am going to. I was considering the Texans. I'm gonna.
Yeah, me too. We missed the 6.5. It's 7 now. I think this is just a tough. Why
are people hitting fucking? And this is just now getting hit.
Yeah.
Why are they hitting the NFL right now? This is not typically when the NFL moves.
I mean, the way I was looking at this game is like, okay, has Cam Ward looked completely terrible? No.
The Titans.
The battle of the 0-3 teams, but it's like I don't know if I can see Cam Ward putting it together here. Not against this Texans defense, not on the road.
No, I agree, and I think they got the wrong guy at head coach for the Titans. Callahan sounds like a dipshit. He really does. He sounds like he's in over his head. He is relinquishing play calling for what that's worth. He's going to give it to whoever the fuck else. But God damn it, I wanted 6.5. I cannot believe.
I'm just going to go Texans -7.
Okay. If there's anything the Titans have, it is a D line. That's the only thing that really worries me because we know the Texans' offensive line fucking sucks. But you would imagine they're going to get it together here at some point. You thought I stayed away from it, but you thought the spot would have been last week against the Jaguars, but divisional game on the road. I'll hold off for now, I guess. Let's see. Sorry to everybody listening. That's kind of threw me for a loop that all these damn numbers are moving. I'm going to lay 6.5 with the Packers Sunday night. Does the spot call for it? Maybe not. But I do think the Cowboys defense is that bad. The Packers were not supposed to lose that game against the Browns. Browns were supposed to cover, and then somehow they pulled victory out of the jaws of defeat. So I think we see the Packers bounce back in a big way here, and this is the Micah Parsons revenge game and all of that. CeeDee Lamb with the ankle injury possibly going on IR. I don't know where the maybe it's a shootout. I don't know. Dak is good. Without CeeDee Lamb, it's going to be I don't think Pickens is going to be able to get it done for you by himself. And then that defense is just really bad. It really is. So it's like shockingly bad. So I'm going to lay 6.5 with the Packers on Sunday night and see if we can get a bounce back. I've got one more and then my lock, I believe. Let me see. What are your thoughts about? I think I'm going to lay 2.5 with Baltimore on the road. You got any thoughts?
No. I mean, both these teams expected to be playoff teams, both 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I still have Baltimore as my best team in the league. So I am going to trust that the Ravens can get it back on track, and I'm going to lay 2.5 points with them. This Chiefs offense is just not explosive at all. I think it's going to take a heroic game for Mahomes, which he's got it in him, but I don't know. I don't trust him. I don't trust him to be able to, because that's the thing. This Chiefs defense has shown the ability to get beat on the back end. We saw it against the Chargers at the beginning of the season. So I'll lay 2.5 with Baltimore. Maybe I'm walking right into a trap, but we'll take the chance. Bam, you have one more and then your lock?
Yep.
All right, go with it.
All right, going to the Monday night shootout. Jets, Dolphins, over 44.5.
All righty. You want to call an exact score on that one?
23-22.
I say 35-28.
Jesus.
Okay.
And bet the alternate.
Yeah, who's scoring the 35?
Dolphins.
Okay. All righty. All right. All I have left is my lock. Everybody else as well?
Yep.
All right. No such thing as a lock of the week, but if there was.
It's a lock, Kramer. You've had this thing under control for almost 3 years now. But it's a lock.
They need that fucking juice. They need that next bet. They need. Come on. Yes! When they win, they go fucking crazy.
You're a bad motherfucker. Go in that shower, grab your fucking nuts, and tell the world somebody's sniffing my fucking nutsack today. Because I ain't got time to fuck around no more.
For my lock of the week, I'm going to take the Falcons plus 2.5. I said it earlier. I'll say it again. You're never as bad as when you get blown out. You're not as bad as it looks. When you win in an easy win, you're not as good as it looks. The Falcons are not that bad. They fired maybe the receivers coach. I don't fucking know.
Yeah.
Get it together. Michael Penix Jr. had a horrific game. The Panthers beat the Falcons by 30. The Commanders dominated the Raiders with a backup quarterback. Everybody's going to jump on the Commanders more than likely. Not me. I'm going to take the Falcons. At home here, a team that should have beat the Buccaneers to start the season. This team's better than a 1-2 record. I think they're better than the Commanders. Too many weapons on the offensive side of the ball. They got to get it going in the red zone. I think they will here. The secondary for the Commanders, I think, is susceptible through the air. I think we see a bounce-back game from Penix. I'm taking the Falcons plus 2.5 as my lock of the week. Which way are you going?
I'm on the Falcons as well.
As your lock?
Yeah. Jaden Daniels, what's up with him?
He's questionable to come back, but regardless, if he does, I think it's going to hinder the mobility.
It doesn't matter to me.
I took it into account.
I assume he's coming back where this line's at, but on the other hand, if I'm wrong, then and he does come back, then there's going to be a better number available. Even though Mariota, I don't really think it's that big of a difference. I think Jaden Daniels is clearly better, but I don't think they're definitely similar type players. They do the same thing, and if anything, I think they're a little bit more reckless with the way they run Mariota.
Yeah. So you're taking the Falcons, though?
Yes.
Okay.
But I'm saying I think this line's indicating that Daniels is playing.
Yeah.
But if it isn't and he does play, then obviously you're going to be able to get Falcons plus more points.
Yeah, I agree. They said he's day-to-day. But, yeah, I mean, with the knee sprain, even if he is back, though, I don't think they're going to run him very much. I think his mobility will be hindered, and I think the defense for Atlanta will be able to have some success here. I just think people are going to see what happened against Carolina, and they got blown out by 30, and I'm not really worried about that. I don't think the Falcons are a bad team. So Falcons plus 2.5 is your lock of the week as well?
Yeah.
Bam, what is your lock of the week?
My lock of the week is the Baltimore Ravens minus 2.5 versus the Chiefs.
Okay. Alrighty. There you go. That is our best bets of the week for the NFL. To recap, Sunday night I am taking the Seahawks -1. I'm taking the Jaguars +3, the Ravens -2.5, the Packers -6.5, the Patriots -5.5, and my lock of the week is the Atlanta Falcons +2.5 on the home field.
We're going Cardinals +1.5 on Thursday night. Falcons +2.5 for the lock. Patriots -5.5, and Texans -7.
Okay, we're going Seattle -1 on Thursday. Browns lines under 44.5. Jets, Dolphins over 44.5. And my lock of the week is the Ravens -2.5.
Alrighty. There you go. That is our best bets for the NFL Week 4. Do you have anything to say before we go?
Nope.
Bam.
Go Tigers.
Episode 234 is in the books. Again, hit the like and subscribe button if you don't mind. We're going to try to keep moving in the right direction, trying to find some winners. It was a good week last week. We're going to try to have a better week this week. Y'all have going. Who dat?
The house always wins. Play long enough, you never change the stakes. The house takes you. Unless, when that perfect hand comes along, you bet big, and then you take the house.
I've been practicing this.
A little bit. Did I rush you? Felt like I
That was
rushed.
good. I liked it.